this over there. Hello, hey guys, thanks so much for joining. This is Moses with Easify. And today we're just going to go over our new built-in CRM that's available it's built out for MCA and ISO brokers, right? So, right, if you want an easy way to manage all your deals, and we know for MCA you're typically dealing with a lot of data. This is the best, right, and the cheapest CRM for MCA, right? Because for this CRM, you just have to be on our enterprise plan, which is our $199 per month plan, which doesn't just get you access to the CRM, of course. It gets you access to the entire Easify platform, which includes getting you approved for 10DLC messaging for text messaging, right? The ring this voicemail, emails. But with that, alongside all the CRM features, it's a no-brainer, and it's a very, very competitive product for the MCA industry. There are, of course, different solutions out there for CRM, but for what you're getting at that price point, I don't think you're kind of beating this offer. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me just make sure this looks good. And you guys can put your questions in the chat, and we'll take a look at those after we're kind of done going through all the different features and benefits of using the Easify CRM. So yeah, let's jump in. Give me 1 second here. I'm almost ready to get going here. Appreciate your guys' patience. All right, guys, let's get going. So here in the dashboard is where you can quickly add a lead or make a call and kind of just check some of your recent actions on all your leads. And by the way, right, if you have a team, you can have this built out to everyone's liking and their own account, right? Because through Easify, you can of course build out your different users. But the general flow of the CRM works along these different milestones for the lead, right? So all data that all new data that you push in, whether it's through an Excel sheet or it's just a lead that you're manually putting in, right? This is some of the parameters that you want to put in here: company name, how much capital, if they need to grow. Of course, the only required data points are the ones that have this little asterisk here, but it's general information: company name, cell phone number for the merchant, and then the email. That's the big those are the big data points that we need. But from there, of course, you can put the owner details, right? Their SSN. Same thing with the partner details. How much of the business they own, etc., etc. Let's get back to the dashboard. Because the really cool thing about the CRM is how the lead goes through the life cycle, right? So, for instance, you put in the new data in, it goes into new lead. Once you send out the application, the system will automatically push that lead into app out, right? So your brokers, you guys don't have to remember, right, switching all the different leads into their respective lead status. The system, for the most part, is going to do that for you, right? So once you send out the application, it goes to app out. Once the merchant sends back a signed application, boom, it will automatically go into app in, right? Once you get the 3 monthly bank statements and the signed application, it will go to docs in. From there, right, you do need to manually change the different lead statuses, right? Once you actually submit it to the different lenders, right, you'll set it to submitted. And of course, right, you have to determine with the lenders if it's approved or not, etc., right? So if it's approved, set it to approved. If not, declined. And then contract out, right? When you send out the contract, once the merchant is signed, it comes into contract in. And once it's funded, it will go to funded, of course, right? So These lead statuses, the reason why, well, one, right, like I mentioned, it's all automated, or I'll say like the beginning part, the most important part, right, is automated. So what we do, and the reason why it's kind of segmented into these different, lead statuses, is because we can set up, and I'll show you that under the workflow. A big part of how the CRM works is you can set up status-based notifications, meaning we'll take a look at kind of the workflow here. You can set up, right, text messages and emails to go out based on those different lead statuses. Okay, so for instance, right, once you get the app in, right, you can set it to, okay, let's say like an hour after the application comes back in, you're going to send the bank documents reminder, right, template through email and through text. And you guys can set up your own templates for both SMS and for email. Like, you don't have to necessarily use what we have built in, but you can, of course, we do have, right, this workflow that you can just use and kind of build off of this. But some of our clients we're talking, they set up weeks to months of these different workflows, right? Different templates to go out based on these status notifications. And of course, as you guys know, right, where that gets super important is once you actually fund the deal, right? Because once you actually fund the deal, these are merchants that have already worked with you, right? Who have already made money with you, and vice versa, you've made money with them. So a lot of times these are people who might need money again in the future, right? They have an upcoming project that they might need to fund. So once you have that lead in that funded status, you can build out emails to go out, okay, a month in, right? How's the funding going, right? Just to kind of keep you and your business in mind for them, right? And then 3 months out, okay, maybe we want to do a follow-up deal with them, right? 6 months out, right? Maybe they need more money, right? So you can build out these notification emails to go out and text messages to go out for months and months and months, and kind of make, because that's a big part of the job, right? Is not just funding the deal, but then nurturing that relationship long term, so that you can do more and more deals with those merchants, right? Have a long relationship with them, right? Because again, a lot of these businesses don't just need money one time; they will need money again and again and again to fund, right, their projects. And so, if you've already worked with them, why not have that long-term relationship with them, and continue that correspondence with them, and continue making money with them, right? Excuse me. So, this is really where a lot of the functionality of the CRM comes from, is just through these different lead statuses. Okay, so just to kind of review, not only is the system taking that lead and pushing it through the workflow automatically, but here, when you build out all these different lead status templates, right? Let's say when you got contract out, right? All right, awesome. We're through to inform you that your contract's on the way. Boom. But maybe, okay, you sent the contract out. Maybe a day after you sent the contract out, the merchant still hasn't responded. It's been a day. All right, let's set up another template. Right after this, you can edit this. We'll pause. Right. We can just set up after delay. Right. Let's do like maybe a day after you sent out this initial template. And this is based on time that that this lead has been in that specific in that specific lead status, right? So as soon as the status switches to contract out, right, boom, we're gonna hit them with the email and the SMS to let them know, hey, we sent you the contract. And then one day after that lead has still been in the contract out status, well, we want to remind them again, right? This is super important, right? The contract's out. We want to hit them as many times as possible, especially the few days after you've actually sent the contract out, because that's when, right? Like we need to get this deal funded. So we need to hit the merchant again if they haven't responded. So boom, all right, it's been a day. Let's hit them with another template, right? We're gonna send another SMS here. You select the phone number it's coming from, the actual template, right, that you want to send out. And by the way, right, if let's say you're a newer broker, you don't have necessarily email templates or SMS templates, right? We'll work with you, right? We charge a very reasonable fee to set up all the email templates, all the SMS templates, right? We know what works. We can have the template set up with your your branding, your logo, right, your color scheme. So if you need help creating all this content, right, for your emails or for your SMS, right, we know the industry. That's why we built out this MCA CRM. So we can of course work with you to get all that content created. Alrighty. So yeah, and you can build these out. It's not just one, right? You can do multiple, right? Where it's like, okay, they haven't responded in 2 days. Boom, let's hit them with another SMS, another email. And you can even do something like this, where maybe, right, if it's been, like let's say after the app's out and it's been like 3 days and they still haven't responded, or 4 days after they haven't responded, maybe you want to assign that to a closer. You can do that, right? So. Or let's just say you can set it up here for app, like if we do this, boom, right, condition status equals app out, right, and we'll just do add as a new branch, and then here, where is it at? Right here, app out, right? So before we didn't have that as a branch, but you can easily set it up, right? So it can create a similar branch to what we were seeing here. Let's just say, right, after, let's just say 4 days, right? After 4 days of a lead being in app out, right, and they haven't responded, they haven't sent back the application, you can even do something where we're gonna assign this to a closer, right? Let's say Innie's our closer, right? I'm just gonna add this to the current branch. So you can have very complex workflows where, all right, boom, we're setting up all these different SMS and these email templates to, depending on the lead status. But then also, hey, this person hasn't responded after 4 days, they're still in app out. We're gonna set this to our agent Innie, right? That's our closer. So now Innie's gonna work this client, right? So she's gonna call them, she's gonna text them, email them, right? So you can even do that where you have different agents working on different leads depending on time frames of when they've been in the lead, or maybe the deal's been funded and it's been 6 months, all right, and we want this to go to our guy who works with all our funded deals. Well, we can do that as well, right? So you can set up different complicated workflows, right? We have this workflow built out as a sample, but by no means are you tied to what we have set up. You can set these workflows to your liking and to what works for your company. Okay, so let's go back to leads here. Here's where you can just kind of see a list of all your different leads. We'll go into this one. This is the lead I was using for testing, right? So let's go here so we can review the full details so you can kind of see it, right? You can see the requested amount, right? You can set up different labels where if it's a hot lead, maybe it's a cold lead, or whatever different labels you want associated. It's basically like a disposition, right? You can do a credit pull here, right? Because we do, I'll show you that really quickly too, guys. Right? We do have a couple different integrations, right? Data merge if you want to see if people have defaulted on any deals. Right, MoneyThumb if you want MoneyThumb to do OCR services for bank statements, right? Pull out how much, MoneyThumb's like it does some underwriting tasks for you through OCR, right? If you want to connect your own Plaid account, and by the way, we have all these set up through our API, right? So you don't need an account necessarily with any of these services. You can just use ours. Right, but if you do have your own account, you can also just log in, right, and use your account through Plaid or Pace or MoneyThumb or Data Merge, right? and of course MoneyDump does the light underwriting right through OCR, right? Pacer checks if they're involved in any legal cases, and then Plaid can they can log into their Plaid, and then it will automatically pull bank statements for you, or your merchants can also just upload right through PDF or whatever document type their bank statements. So these are the different APIs that we currently offer. You can change the lead form as well. Here's the default, but I've had someone write for additional details. Like do you currently have any MCA? And then you can also create a field where it's like current positions, right, and current position and lenders, right? So you can do stuff like that, right? Everything that's here by default is required, but you can create new fields if you'd like as well. All right, and the same thing for lead statuses. So if you want, something in here, as another status, you can absolutely set that up. And of course, with that, right, is you can use those custom lead statuses within your workflows as well. All right, let's go back to leads here. 1 second. Right, so you can easily call or text or email your merchants right here through this console, right? By looking at the full details, we can edit the lead, right? We can make any changes to the information here. You can change the assigned user. You can manually update the status as well, right? We'll go back. I will go back to my leads because I will go back to the one that is set up using my information. Refill details will update status. What's cool though is demo. We'll just put demo in here. You have to confirm, right? Because a lot of the actions are based on these lead statuses and auto emails going out, right? Auto text going out based on these different lead statuses. You have to confirm, right? That you do want to go back, right, and update the lead status manually. What did I want to mention here also? Oh, and by the way, right, for us, you can set up the auto text and auto emails if you have a really good one, or if you're just confident that your data is good. You can set up an auto text and auto email to go out for new lead. Typically, that's not something I'm going to recommend, just because, right, a lot of times in the MCA, you might not have good data for that merchant, right? And because this, of course, every text and every email is going to cost, you to send those out, right, it's going to cost you credits. If you don't have the good data for that merchant, you don't just want to send out, right, a text and an email blast. Let's say you're uploading like 1,000 leads right through your Excel sheet. You don't necessarily just want an auto email to go out to every new lead, right? So what I recommend is make sure have your brokers call the merchant, make sure it's the good number, right? Good email for the merchant, right? Once you have that good data and confirmation that they're looking for money, then we're just going to send the application, right? You can click this button. Send via both. Absolutely want to send that out. And then as you can see, right, the lead automatically goes to app out. Okay? And now that the lead is in app out, right, depending on if you want to wait an hour, right, to send out the text, once it's been in app out, or if you want it to go out instantly, then the merchant's going to get the application, and then they're going to get that notification email. I typically recommend, right, give it like at least a few hours after you send out the application if you want to be super aggressive, or give them a day, right? You can also just give them a day where, you send out the application, right? Wait a day, and then here, if they still haven't responded, here's the reminder email, reminder text. Hey, we sent did you get my text yesterday? I sent you the application, etc., etc. All right. Here's what it looks like. So you can click here, and you can even copy the application link. So we'll go in here and I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, sorry. And the reason why I did that, we'll do that again, is just because I'm logged into Easify, of course, but your merchants are not going to be logged into Easify. Okay. All right. So hold on. So get this OTP. Hold on, no, I haven't. Let's edit this lead because this is it's not gonna send through. So let's try that again. See if it goes through now. There we go. Okay, 5573. All right, boom. So here, oh man, I've already, okay, so it does recognize that I have already gone through, submitted my business detail, right, owner details. I signed the application. So now it just wants me to upload those files, right? Let me see if we can go through. I don't know if it's gonna let me though. Because the rest of the data in here, of course, is just test leads. Let's do this. Sorry. Man, I was hoping. What if we do this? Edit lead. We will put the email. How am I gonna do that? All right, yeah, we'll do this. There you go. Whatever, 20th, 1998. Sure. Oh yeah, 1990. Okay. All right, boom, and then now I want to view the details again. We'll send the application link through email, and then I'm gonna open up a new tab and send it to my email to show you what the application looks like. Apologies for the delay, guys. See if this goes through. That's the wrong one. There we go. Okay. Here we are. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this is what the application looks like. Let me make sure you guys can still see. Okay, perfect. So this is what the application looks like. Sorry for the delay there, but we'll quickly go through this. Of course, it's gonna have your logo up here, right? Excuse me. I have your logo up here. So that's, that's how much money I want. Make sure the company name is correct. It's an LLC, average monthly revenue. Let's call it 15K. Business type, we do, let's say we are audiovisual consultants that work for the club, setting up their audio systems. What is it like? Address. Oh sure, that's my old address, so why not? Let's say we're in Colorado. So pretty standard stuff. I don't know if we have to go through, well, just for the sake of showing you everything, 2000 email, we'll go ahead and, yeah, why not? I own 100%. Again, we're in Colorado. Yup. It's asking if we own or lease. Or own it. Yes, we do accept credit cards. No, I don't have any MCA. Here where I can have, and it's just going to do the auto signature, right? And then finally, right, we can continue with Plaid or upload files to upload those bank statements. All right. So that's how the application works. Sorry, it's signing me out again. That's just because it's right. Like we're signing the application. It's like I'm logged in as the merchant trying to submit the application. So that's why it logged me out of the actual account, right? That we're using as for the CRM. But because obviously, right, your merchant won't be using Easify, right? There won't be any issues there. So yeah, so right, the app out. I haven't submitted it just because. Actually, hold on. It should app out. Let's see if we refresh this. Well, you saw the application. Let me log in again and look at some of the other features. There we go. There we are. So yeah, and we'll go into the review application. Okay, so they have completed the application. You can see that update here. We'll update the status to, yep, we do want to update the status to app in, or to, oh no, we don't, right? We need the documents. But let's say they sent you the documents through your email, right? Something like that. You can go ahead and upload the documents. You can actually select the if it's a voided check, if it's the driver's license, or if it's the bank details, right? You can even select the month, and then you can manually upload those bank statements yourself. Let me see something here. Okay, perfect. Right. So you have a full, list of all the updates for that lead in terms of, you can see all the SMS that's gone out, right? All the underwriting tasks that have been done for the lead. All right, you can do a credit pull. You can see all the different communication that's gone out, right? The sender and the recipient, if it's a successful email, right? Whatever. You have access to everything. You even have reports that you can pull. So let's look at the reports where, right, the funding report, the daily lead status report, how many total new leads and the status that they're in, right? You can see the leads by state, leads by source, right? If you have different lead sources, you can see how many of those have gone in, right? You can track leads by their status. So yeah, I mean, it's a very, very, built-in and all-in-one system. Again, and remember, right? We're not just talking about the CRM. You can just do your mass SMS communications through the Easify marketing tools that have always been built into Easify, right? So once you get your 10 DLC approved, right? Like let's say you have you're just working qualified merchants through the CRM, but you still want to do your mass outreach through Easify. You absolutely still can, right? Run your campaigns with just the data that you have that you want to push, your SMS campaigns to. You can do that, and then once that person's interested, then just create a new lead for that merchant, right? So you have the mass the mass marketing aspect, right, for the data that maybe hasn't been qualified, maybe you haven't talked to them in a while, right? People you haven't really worked with, or you're not sure entirely of their interest currently. Well, you can work those that data in our SMS or in our email campaigns or ringless voicemail campaigns, right? You can still set up your AI to work those people, right? And then once you have their intent and they're interested, then you can create them as a lead within the CRM, and then do all your actual broker task within the CRM. So yeah, you can build out your different lenders as well. If you go to settings, right, you can of course build out your lenders, right? You can build out the lender email, the contract email to send out, right? Maybe you need some like a description of this is an A lender, they only do A deals, right? Or they only do B deals, whatever the case may be. Oh, they don't do trucking, right? You can set that up in description. And then of course, right, once you have your bank statements, once you have the signed application, from there you can just submit the leads directly to your lenders. So I mean, that's the CRM in a nutshell. Let me see if you guys have any questions here. Hold on. I see the questions. Yeah, what is the cost of the CRM? So the cost of the CRM is minimum. It's $199 per month, which gets you access to our enterprise plan. Let me just go over to our pricing page here. So it is $199 per month, right? So with that, you get 225,000 credits. And these credits is kind of the currency for the platform. So that's what where you're pulling all your every email you send out is going to be 4 credits, which equals to about 2 cents per send. And by the way, right, the more credits you purchase in bulk, the better pricing you get per send. So I'm just discussing, right, like just the base pricing that you get. It'd be 2 cents per send or 4 credits per email. You can set up to 15 different users on that plan, and you get 2 free phone numbers, right? So depending on how much, and yes, by the way, it does come with SMS built in. Our enterprise plan is our top level plan. So you get access to the SMS, you get access to the SMS campaigns, you get access to the ringless voicemail campaigns, you get access to the email campaigns, as well as all the AI tools. So you can build out your AI agent for text, you can build out your AI agent for calls. And of course, that does come with the MCA CRM built in as well. So, you do need to be on our enterprise plan in order to get access to the CRM. But for everything you're getting, including access to SMS, mass SMS, mass email, right, mass ringless voicemail, and you're also getting the CRM built in, I think it's a no-brainer, right? It's definitely the most competitively priced CRM for MCA that I've seen on the market. So that's the pricing there. Hold on. Okay, perfect. Let me know, guys. Do you have any other questions for me? Just to kind of review again, right? As you can see, a lot of this stuff is just built out on these different lead statuses, but that's not to make, right, the CRM seems simple, right? It's just so powerful, right? Because this is the entire lead lifecycle, and you can send out SMS, you can send out email based on all these different lead statuses. You can build out new lead statuses if you don't necessarily work your leads through this specific funnel. Well, you can create your own different lead statuses and have your own workflows built out. We of course have workflows built out for that you can just kind of use and build off of. If not, you can create any of your custom workflows for what you want to send out based on these different lead statuses. Let's go to workflows again. One other thing is that we also have lead assign notification that you can set up, right? So that every time you assign a new lead to your agents, that they get an SMS, that they get an email, right? So you can build out these workflows based on our templates, right? Because we do have these templates already built for you guys, ready to go, which you can of course edit to your liking. Or if not, you can just create a whole new template with that everything is bespoke, everything is just you creating the templates for SMS, for email, as well as the different steps. Do you want to wait a day, 2 days before sending the merchant another text or another email? Do you want your closers to be assigned to a lead after they've been in app in for 5 days or docs in for 3 days, whatever, right? You have full control of how you want this to be set up. Just know, since a lot of this stuff is based on just those different automations, once you set it, you can kind of forget it, all right? You still have to work the lead, of course, you still have to reach out to the merchant, but just for those different, outreach texts and emails, once you set up the workflows, again, the system is doing a lot of the work for you. All right, especially if you're using the APIs that we have built in through MoneyThumb or through Pacer, that just levels up your workflow even more, right? And again, we have those APIs built in, and you can just use our service, right? If you have your own account set up with them, then you can of course just sign in and use your API credentials. For Pacer, for MoneyThumb, right, for Data Merch, etc. So yeah, guys, let me know. I will, if there's no more questions, I will be jumping off here momentarily. So please let me know if you have any other questions about the CRM. Again, this is a CRM built out specifically for MCA brokers, right? So we know the game, right? We know the industry. And because this is kind of a new, a new portion of Easify, of course, our development team is taking a lot of feedback right now. If there's something you want added to the CRM, please let us know. We're very excited about the CRM that's built in for MCA in Easify. So, again, we're just looking for new ways to improve it for you guys. So let me know. Please put any questions in the chat. I'll also put in the chat. I'm gonna put in my link to set up a demo call. So if you guys want just some more, a kind of a deeper dive into how it all works, I'm gonna put in a link to book a call directly with me. So give me 1 second. So here you guys go. So in the chat there, guys, I did just put in my link. So if you click that link, it will bring you, to my calendar. So that has my full availability. So whenever you guys are, interested in and are free to do a demo call, right? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to book a call with me. Again, my name is Moses. I would love to kind of take you through the system to show you how it all works. And if you have any questions about this, because again, right, it's not just the CRM that we have to offer. This is just kind of what we're focusing on this webinar. But again, right, there's a bunch built in. We have the automations for the SMS, the emails, the ringless voicemail. We have that link that I just dropped in. That's directly through our bookings feature, which that's basically a calendar app that you can connect to your Microsoft Teams or your Google Calendar, right? So we have that built out. We have the AI replies, right? We have a dialer built in. So there's a lot that goes into Easify. Not just the CRM, even though the CRM, right, is a huge a new feature that we recently revealed. So yeah, it's very exciting time to join Easify right now. And if you guys want, again, a deeper dive into any of how how Easify works in general, please use that link to book a call with me. I'll give you guys one more minute here to drop any questions in the chat. And if you don't have any questions, no worries. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to see how the CRM works, and I hope that we get on a call soon. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off. Again, thank you so much for taking out the time to, to see our CRM and how it all works. I hope to talk to you all soon. We'll do another webinar, and if not next week, then the following week. Again, my name is Moses. Thank you so much, guys. You have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye now.